más. Te crees mucho, lo sé. Oye, que te digo, sé. Pero hay más en Instagram. Si tú no quieres, bebé, tengo fila hasta 3. No te necesito más. Te crees mucho, lo sé. Oye, que te digo, sé. Pero hay más en Instagram. Te crees mujer de lo que eres, pero en el mundo no es que a mujeres más. Me la creía hasta ese día que me engañaste. ¿Qué más? Reciclaba amores y estabas tú. Te necesitaba, ya no. Baby, I've been thinking about the things we said. Oh yeah. And maybe we'd be better off being just friends. Oh yeah. It's getting kinda obvious what you want from me. Only calling when you feel alone. You make promises, then you let them go. So if you just wanna have my body, you better go find somebody else.
Everybody, welcome to 5Fs to Love, the LGBTQ edition, our community, our conversation. I have my handsome co-host tonight, Scotty. Where you at, boo?
Hey, Jessie. How are you?
Honey.
Hi, everybody.
I missed you last week.
Oh, sorry, I was traveling, but it's great to be back.
Yeah. Good. I'm so excited for us to have this conversation tonight. And Mark and Lonnie, could we do one at a time? Oh. Yeah, no, everybody at once. Okay. This is what our lovely producer is talking about because I'm a spaz. I'm sorry. I just got home from the lake house and I'm just getting settled into the city. And I just get a little extra jumpy. So, how's everybody?
Good. Doing good. How you doing?
Hush. Sorry.
You got your puppy?
Yeah.
Mark, you shaved your beard off.
I did shave.
Oh my gosh, what a baby face.
You missed the conversation me and Christine were having beforehand.
Oh my goodness.
Look, that is enough. Sorry. I have a talent show coming up this weekend that I may or may not be doing.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't decided yet.
If you decide, you have to tell us so we can come support you.
Unfortunately, just the only guys can come to where they're going to be at this weekend.
What?
But,
that's bullshit.
But if I do decide to perform this weekend, I will be at Liberty hosting bingo with Raven Queen.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to come dressed in drag myself. I'll be drag king. How about
you know where that is, Jessie?
Yes, I do know where that is. Smart ass. So Lonnie, are you going to be there?
No, I haven't. I've never been to any of the. Are you talking about the campgrounds? I cut out for a second, so I apologize.
The drag show. No, drag show.
I'll be at Liberty. If I do perform, I'll be also at Liberty in drag if I am.
Oh, this weekend?
Yes.
I'm going to videotape you and put it on TikTok.
Don't tell.
Unfortunately, yeah. I DJ on the weekends, and now I'm working my third job this weekend. So usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all day. I'm out trying to make money. So unfortunately, yeah, Liberty for me is only on Thursdays.
I get it. I have seen Lonnie DJing, and it's super fun. That's awesome. I never have to buy a drink because people are always buying me drinks. I don't know why.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then they're getting drinks for me too because they want to keep that flirtation going. That's how it rolls. You gotta buy the KBFF a drink to keep him off, so
it's
that
all the
he can
middle-aged
focus on the
heteros.
chick.
Yeah, it's all the middle-aged heterosexual white men with Asian women fantasies on
That's
the
a lot
lake.
of
So
drinks.
there you go. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick. We caught up with each other, and we're gonna get to the conversation after a quick commercial break.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right.
My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, I don't know, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love, your soulmate, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And thank you for downloading the 5 F's app.
Welcome back. So welcome back to 5 F's to Love, our community, our conversation. So Scotty, do we have? Apparently, I'm not allowed to read questions anymore. It's kind of fucked up, but whatever.
Truth or myth? Gay radar. Is it a truth? Is it a myth? Can you detect when someone is interested in the same sex? What do you guys think?
Gaydar.
Gaydar.
So I don't mind speaking first if that's okay, but I actually was, we've all done therapy. Everybody's needed to decompress every once in a while in their life, and my therapist specialized in gender studies and homosexuality, and she was always telling me it's a defense mechanism that has existed for homosexual community members for centuries. We've always been able to tell because internally we need to be able to assess an environment and know when it's safe to be us or when we need to be that other person. And that's kind of how gaydar works. So we can identify characteristics in other people that let us know when it's safe to be who we are. And that's a lot of the study behind gaydar. So yes, I wholeheartally do believe in gaydar, and more often than not, I've actually been accurate than inaccurate in determining if somebody, usually you get that person out in the middle, out in a bar somewhere, a straight bar, and they'll sit there and play straight, but then the next thing you know, you're getting a private message from them later on saying, hey, and where it's going.
Is there eye contact? Is it like?
Oh, that's one of them.
Really?
But haven't you had those situations though too when you're colossally off base on that, where you thought for sure and then they weren't?
Yes, but then usually years later, I ended up finding out that they came back around. So
hiding something.
Maybe not at the time, but later on down the road, they've circled back. So yeah.
What about you? What about you, Jessie, as a female?
Oh, I can always tell.
But can you tell both sex?
I think with women, like it's, because women are more like so much more touchy-feely with each other anyway. But it's in 2023, I say there's definitely more women that are experimental and open in their own sexuality. And Ray, come say hi.
Oh God.
This is my lovely friend Ray Love, who is visiting.
Hello.
She used to be from Michigan, but she's visiting. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
And Ray and I both talk about it because we both. Is it okay if I talk about your sexuality?
Sure.
So we talk because we both, have had relationships with women. So can you tell?
What can we tell that we've been with women before?
No, can you tell? Like
We can't hear you, Jessie.
Jessie, it muted you because you pulled your AirPods out.
You're muted.
There you go.
Okay, so
so tell them what.
tell them if you feel. Can you tell if a woman? Do you have gaydar for other women?
Oh my God, it's so bad. It's terrible. Like, so most women, even if, in my experience, right, and most women, even if they do, have interest in women as well, it's really taboo, or they were conditioned that it was not right, or that it's not something serious. So,
Yes.
you could totally have gaydar, but it could still be wrong, because the woman may still be attached to her roles or her views on it, or her family's views on it, even if she's completely attracted. So I feel like gaydar isn't accurate. I feel like it's not even worth, the system is not worth using to pursue. For me, the best thing for me, I feel, is just straight up honesty. Just, if you throw it out there, if you flirt with her, she flirts back, then yeah.
She has flirted with women, like sitting in my kitchen, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. But really, too, you guys, women are much more like, women will
Fluid.
make out with other women and
No
never
problem.
go further than that.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
never like, I mean, it's such a more of an emotional, complex thing than guys, I think.
Mhm.
Do you feel that women's sexuality is a little bit more easily fluid than it is with men? Women find it a little easier to cross the border and back again
Completely.
than men do.
Completely. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and I think women just express themselves easier in that way, and
Yeah.
Plus,
society,
it's also society. It's
tends
more
to
acceptable.
accept it more.
We're already accepted
Mhm.
as the more sexual being, even though I feel like it's men, but I don't know. I'm still in a sense of where it's not either or. I don't believe in that, your sex or your gender would determine, your sex drive. However, women are symbols of sexuality. Women are symbols of sex more than men. They're over
Mhm.
sexualized further beyond just TV, but
Mhm.
books and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
When I think about it being easier, I feel like it's kind of like the world, we had to say it's a man's world. I feel like when it comes to sex and sexuality, it's a woman's world, because we can literally say, hey, I want 2 husbands, 2 wives, I want to be with her, I want to be with him, but I want a husband and I want a white picket in the fence. And we're allowed to say that, but a man can't, it wouldn't be as accepted. It's always like it's more of, oh, you're gay? Wow. And then with a woman, oh, you're gay?
Let's
Really?
pass
Tell me
a
more
law
about
again.
that.
Yeah. And Mark, what do you think?
But it's really nice to meet you guys. Love you.
I do believe that there is gaydar. But I do believe that, there are some scenarios where, due to people's religious backgrounds or family backgrounds, they
Yeah,
can't
but down
be their
low.
true authentic selves, and yeah, in those situations they're on the down low and they do whatever they do on the side, besides
Have
what.
you ever been with a guy that's down low?
Yes.
Yes,
Is it better? Well, you were kind of on the
Is
down
the
low.
sex better? Of course it's always better, because
I've been with.
It's
that taboo
it's
feeling
more
thing,
exciting.
right?
It's more exciting. It is not better. They may not know what they're doing. They may not know what they're doing with a woman. They just may not be that sexually experimentative. It doesn't make it better. It makes it more exciting, but it doesn't make the sex better.
Because they don't know what they're
It makes it
doing.
hot, but it doesn't make it better. Exactly. And then you never know if you're going to cross a boundary that freaks them out. They might like something, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I shouldn't like that. And then suddenly they withdraw into themselves, and then the encounter is just over.
Do you guys
So
think
it's
about
happened
your
before.
safety
Yeah.
for hookups like that?
Yes.
Yeah,
You have
'cause
to.
that could get violent.
In this day and age, you especially have to think about your safety just in general. I mean, there are serial killers and people out there that, that prey on the gay community for reasons like that. It definitely happens. I was going to say on the other topic, though, when it comes to women, I know that I have vented about this before, but one of my biggest pet peeves is in the media. It is often more accepted on mainstream television networks when they introduce a new series or show that they want to introduce LGBTQ culture to. It's usually always focused on lesbianism. And they take these women that are sex symbols, because you rarely see the butch feminine figure. You always see the pretty lipstick lesbians dating each other, because straight men are turned on by women who do things with women.
Yep.
Mhm.
And that's because they have that fantasy of them being in the middle of that. Like, these two women are going to want them in the middle of that. But nevertheless, it's a fantasy.
Right.
So it's a lot harder and more difficult to see gay men get added to these mainstream television shows. You see us more on the Showtimes and the HBO series,
Right.
and this and that you have to subscribe to. And basically they look at the audience and say, well, this is what you're paying for.
Yeah, I mean,
versus
that
these other
show,
networks.
and that show Modern Family, where Cam and that couple, but they're almost like caricatures, right? Because I don't
Yeah.
feel like real gay men truly are like that all the time. I mean,
No.
I know it's a TV
No.
show, but yeah. I mean, my guy, Scotty and I go places and people always think we're married. It's really funny.
That's true. All the
Because
time.
he's very, very gentlemanly, you know?
Truth or myth,
Yeah.
you guys think that gay people are always checking out the same sex?
Yes.
No.
I find myself attracted to women on an aspect. I can have appreciation for their body. For instance, Jessie, I love the way she carries herself. I love the way she can fill out her cup size or wear certain outfits. I think Jessie and I can vibe together on a social sexual level with each other and be open and honest. And I'm attracted to that about her, and I find her attractive and would certainly speak about her to other people I think she would vibe with. But
same.
And I know a lot of gay men who would have no problem having sex with women, and some of them do and enjoy it, and they don't necessarily identify as bi either. They just it's an attraction. It's an attraction, and if they feel certain,
I was with women until I was 27 years old. I dabbled in men, and I had long-term relationships with women, and I never found myself unable to perform. To this day, I don't think I would have an issue performing with a woman. And quite recently, one of the questions I asked myself is, would I be able to perform with a trans man, female to male? Because there are some very, very attractive and good-looking trans males out there, but equipment may be a little bit different. And it's been a question that I've asked myself, but I've never had a problem performing for a woman. I just don't enjoy it as much. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, it's not really
there's just it's when I throw somebody up against the wall, I want them to throw me up against the other wall. I don't want to
hold that thought.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back. It's getting steamy in here. Jeez.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Loving how you wind up. For me, tonight is all on me. Mash up the place for me, yeah. She just wanna highlight. Ooh, that body talk to me. I need a taste, baby. Loving the way you move around me. No more delay. No, you can't wait to shut it down. won't you show me how you work it? I can't find no flaws, you perfect. Cause every time that you come around my way, I keep falling again. I keep falling again. And every time that you come across my mind,
Welcome back to 5Fs to Love. We are talking about, I don't know, is it okay to say gayness? We're talking about how we kind of all figured it out for ourselves that we were not the heteronormative space in our lives. Mark, do you have a story how you figured it out?
I was pretty much told that I was gay. No. I
I
pretty
might
much
be
always,
having technical difficulty, guys, if you can hear me. So bear with me while I figure it out.
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I pretty much always knew that I was gay. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Can we back up a little bit? I mean, we're talking about if you know, truth or myth, gay men move faster to connecting than lesbian women. I mean, I've heard the term, you
I
know,
know a lesbian there, U-Haul lesbians, everything. Yeah.
They move in, right? Very
Yeah.
quick. They're nesters.
Hey, I know I have a friend who, when I first met her, she was just like getting out of a long-term heterosexual relationship. And then she got with this woman, fell in love, and bam, like they were married like within a year. Like, and they're still happy, have a big old farmhouse, and like I think they have like 20 dogs. I mean, and
I was waiting for you to say cats.
no, they're dog people. But yeah, I mean, but are we in agreement? It's more women than men.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I guess define connection for me. Does connection mean? I mean, what is that? That can mean so many things.
Well,
Like, do you mean start a relationship?
hook up.
I mean, yeah. Well, hookup's different, right?
Right.
Hello, grinder.
I mean, that can definitely lead to a relationship, but most of the time, that's just instant gratification, right? But
yeah, no, if we're specifically
It's
talking
very-
about hookup, it's more definitely a gay man than it is a lesbian thing. I mean,
Well, equipment-wise, it's easier for the hookup, isn't it? I'm just saying.
An interesting fact, and you guys can fact check this with your friends. So I've talked to my lesbian friends. Did you know that most lesbians sit and watch gay porn or gay pornography, gay men pornography? They are not as turned on by watching videos of women doing stuff with other women. They like the aggressiveness of male gay porn. And I recently asked a group of lesbians in a bar setting about this because I'd heard this for the last 10, 12 years from my lesbian friends. It's a very common thing. So yeah, lesbians in general, they form those connections and things like that. Hookups between lesbians, I don't hear about them very often. It does seem to be more of a gay male thing, but it's always weird to me to find these little quirks out. One would think a hookup is a hookup and so on, but that is an interesting fact that lesbians are not so quick to do the hookup things. They're more quick to have the quick relationships.
yeah, definitely.
The U-Haul is moving in by the Friday after they started dating, and the cats are coming, and then a month later they're on to their next relationship. Whereas gay guys do the hookups that occasionally turn into relationships. But I don't know if you guys have found this. More often than not, it's very rare for a gay hookup. Gays' tendency to suffer from homo FOMO, fear of missing out on another mo.
So like variety.
Cycling through. Mm-hmm.
But you've been in a long-term relationship, Lonnie, for a minute. You and Zach for a while.
Zach and I, yes, but I have had other relationships that have failed due to infidelity. And I'm not saying that every gay man that's out there is a cheater, but more often than not, I have experienced a lot of unfaithful significant others or partners due to the fact that they start to feel in a relationship, the sex starts to leave and they start to think, maybe I'm missing out on something else with somebody else. And
do you think that's why, being open in a relationship in the gay community is so prevalent?
I definitely think it's a lot more common because folks like to have that person that they know they can go home and cuddle, but not necessarily have sex with.
Right. It's kind of like I can go have that extramarital or that outside of the relationship affair and it's okay, right? Because we've talked about it.
Yeah. I've heard of, there's a lot of heterosexual couples that are experimenting and things like that nowadays too. But I think it's a combination of a fear of lacking in, I think it's a fear of feeling unattractive and wanting to continue to feel wanted. And then it's also a fear of being alone. I want to continue to be wanted by other people and engage with other people, but I also want to come home and have that steady person that's going to cuddle me and watch a movie. So a lot of people having their cake and eating it too, and it doesn't necessarily make it right. I personally refuse to allow my significant others to have their cake and eat it too. It's me or it's all me or no.
Well, I used to think that I was poly, I used to think that. And I used to be like, well, this is what I'm doing. So, if you're not cool, then I guess we're not doing this type of thing. And I mean, I've learned obviously to communicate my needs much more clear than I used to. And a lot of how I felt about things had to do with childhood trauma too. And I was going to say earlier, my attraction to women, I'm just recently figuring out is that, women are so maternal and loving in that way that a man can't be. And I never had a mom that was 100%, my real mom, my biological mom. I mean, it was as much as she loved me and fought for me, it was traumatic. And then my adopted mom was a piece of shit. So, I just always gravitated to that somebody just soft, loving, maternal figure. And, that's probably why I didn't want to perform cunnilingus. Just saying, because I love the boobs and the makeup, just all of that, but it was the more healing I do for myself from my past traumas, the less, I don't want to say deviant because that puts such a negative connotation, but less scandalous I want to be.
Proclivity. Sexual proclivity. That's one of my favorite words.
Yeah. Proclivity. It sounds kind of sassy anyways, but the more my partner and I get in a healthier space, the better I am. And I'm not saying that he's the only person I'm going to have sex with for the rest of my life and vice versa, but it's not as unknown as it was before, because we'd leave the house and I'd be like, oh no, she was hot. One time we were at a club downtown and he went to the bathroom and I was on the dance floor making out with the girl, and he was like, you know what you would do to me if I was doing that? I'm like, if it was you and a dude, I would think it was sexy. But I think it's a lot deeper than that for women.
So I was going to ask you, do you feel that your attraction to women comes from that, or just the type of attraction you have for women? So because a lot of folks have waged this argument, is sexuality a choice? Being gay, is it a choice? I don't think it's a choice. I don't necessarily think it's environmental either. I think there's a genetic role that's played in homosexuality, because I've witnessed physical things for people that are just different in evolution, and they turn out to be gay and they're more stereotypically aligned with gay men. But so do you think you would still have been attracted to women if you had not had these past traumas? But your attraction to women would have been different. So you sought out more of a maternal side in the women that you were, getting involved with, and that was what you picked up on. But would you have still had an attraction to women if that wasn't something you were seeking?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I mean, I've the women that I have dated have all been mothers, and they've all been amazing cooks, and just in general.
Oh, okay. So she just doesn't want to cook for herself. I see how it is.
No, I love cooking.
But Jessie, you and I have talked about this. I feel like for you, the attraction to women is not necessarily the sexual part of it.
No.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. Hello, I'm a pillow princess. We talked about that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how graphic Christine is going to allow us to get on here, but like like when I'm I'm very situational. So when I'm in a sexual, sensual situation, like I'd much rather that stuff is being done to me than me doing the doing. Like, I mean, the big joke with the ladies that I know, like, if you spend in a hot tub for like 2 hours, yes. But I mean, but I don't know. I'm just super sensitive with it, but it's much more emotional for me. But yeah, I think you're right, Scotty. We've had some deep discussions on that.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm the pleaser. I love to please the other person. I want to get mine too, but I'm the pleaser. I like to do unto the other person and so on. It doesn't mean that I don't expect gratification at the end, but but I know that I if somebody were focusing on me, it's kind of boring to me, and it can force me to take way too long to get to where we need to be, and half the time they lose interest before we get there. Oh yeah, there's some stamina in there, I won't lie. But when I'm doing
all the secrets,
when I'm doing for the other person, it turns me on that much more, if that makes sense, and it's gonna lead to a more happy conclusion for all parties concerned.
Wow. What about you, Mark?
So Lonnie kind of like hit something on the head for me. Like most of my like relationships I've ever been in, it's always been like kind of a daddy figure. Like, I don't know, it's like something that I have kind of realized in like therapy over the last several years that I've been in therapy is the relationships I seek out are like generally daddy, like older gentlemen that are,
I've met some.
Like,
they're very nice.
But like I'm trying to like break that stigma of myself and try like reaching out, because those daddy relationships have never really reached out or panned out in my best interest. Grant they're nice in the short-term aspect of things, but as far as long-term relationship, it's never been something that was significant enough.
Well, you hear that a lot. There's a lot of guys, in the community that look for that daddy type relationship. But that's great for you that you figured out that that's just not what you want.
Scotty, we talk about you being daddy.
Yeah.
I had to.
I'm actually a real father. I actually have 3 grown children. I was married for 10 years. Dated my ex-wife for most of my college career. And, I think the question I get all the time is, when did you know? Can I pinpoint a date? Not necessarily, but I think I knew definitely in, my early high school years, for sure, if not junior high. And
that's young.
Yeah. I grew up in a very conservative, religious family, conservative community. And, I think for me, I just kind of thought, well, that's there, but we're just going to kind of tuck that away. And, I'm going to have the picket fence, the dog, the 3 kids, the wife, and just give it a go.
Everybody's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah. Again, people ask me, do you have any regrets? I'm like, no, look at these 3
amazing young people
to create. So, but the journey going through that uncoupling of that situation wasn't great. My family wasn't super supportive originally, and it was tough. But, I got to the point where it was not fair to my ex-wife anymore. I needed to let her have the life she was meant to have. And if we continued down that road, which we could have, I would do things to damage that. It's inevitable. It happens, and nobody's happy. And so, long story very short, that's how I got to where I am.
It's really a very honorable, beautiful story. And his family's like all the better for it. And his ex and he are good friends, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, but it took a long time to get there. I don't want anybody to think that was like
I'm sure it was a work in progress. That's for sure. It's probably still a work in progress too.
And she, for the first couple of years didn't have many good things to say about me at all, but she had the common sense and respect to not let my children ever see any of that. So our differences were never brought into that situation. So that was
right. So obviously, Scotty, question for you. So obviously you don't regret the beautiful life you brought into this world, and you should never have to regret that. Do you feel that you had to miss out on some of the fun you could have had? Because there's an element of fun when you get to be yourself and experience things coming into this community, and when you're younger, the gay community has a bad stigma of, kind of disrespecting the gay elders. And so, when you're young and coming into this community, life can be a little bit more fun. Do you feel you missed out on some of that initial fun that you could have been having?
Sure, of course. But, I played a lot of catch up, really.
He's made up for
Really?
a lot.
I know several men that have come out in their later years that definitely have made up for it. And
I mean, I got divorced. My divorce was final in 2000, so it's been 20 plus years. So in that regard, I've had some time to catch up. But again, for part of that time, I mean, I walked away from my marriage not wanting anything to change for my children. So I gave them I just took my clothes because I didn't want any.
Like one suitcase.
Yeah. So, and help put my kids through college and all of that. And now, I have no regrets. But yeah, I played a lot of catch up in the 20 years.
I've seen it. Can we talk about some of that? When we come back, we have to go to a quick commercial break, but I got to tell you guys a story.
Can't wait.
We went on a trip.
I can't wait.
My business. 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 My business.
Welcome back to 5Fs to Love with the LGBTQ edition, our community, our conversation. We are talking about relationships, I think, right, within the gay community and the layout of some of that stuff. And I wanted to tell a story. Scotty, is that okay? I talk about Florida.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
I mean, obviously, I won't go into details, but
details.
I'm going to go through enough details. Scotty went through a terrible breakup. So we decided we're going to go on this trip. And so we go to a very exclusive, lovely area in Florida, not typical like party like Miami or anything. And we check into the Ritz. It's fabulous. They think we're husband and wife, they're like calling me Mrs. Stinebaugh. And then that afternoon, another friend of ours showed up who's also Korean. So then they're like, Mrs. Stinebaugh? And we're like, yes, we're both Mrs. Stinebaugh because he got us this fabulous suite. So we're hanging out. And then one of our friends who lived in the area had her hairdresser who who was also going through a breakup or whatever. And we're like, we're bringing our friend Scotty. And they were like, how cute is he though? What does he look like? And we're like, I'm telling you, he's cute. He's cute. So we meet at the beach. This guy sees Scotty and he was like dribbling, like drooling. So then we end up going to dinner, hanging out. We go to the one drag show in town where it's like your grandma in a dress. And the guy's like, he has a super fancy car. I can't even remember what it was, but like one of those $150,000 cars or whatever. We're all in it. And we're thinking we're going to come back to the hotel and hang out with us. And they drop us off at the hotel. Scotty goes like, you girls mind? And we're like, what? You're ditching us? He leaves. And we're thinking he's coming back like in a couple hours or something. 7 a.m. Girl comes rolling in.
Walk of shame, all of it.
Walk of shame.
That's how we do, though. If we're gonna do it big. We ain't gonna do it just small shit.
See how perfect his hair is? It was still perfect. Comes walking in, and then later we find out this friend of ours lived in this whole like a cul-de-sac, and everybody was texting him going, who's the swimmer that just left your house this morning? So there was like a whole gossip for a while. But that's like,
oh my God, I love it.
It was
Although
so
I gotta say, I don't like doing that walk of shame. If I'm gonna wake up at somebody's house the next morning, I want to be going cuckoo for Cocoa Pebbles. If you know what I'm saying, somebody better be serving me some breakfast.
No, we were at the door like this.
I know, they're waiting. I get in there, they're like, spill it. Tell me everything.
I believe it.
But yeah, I mean, my gosh.
I could picture Jessie just sitting there like with a feathered fan, like waiting, like I have been hot for these details for the last 4 hours.
I was like, who did what? What was the mechanics of this? What was the size situation?
Wait, was Jay there too? Jay was
there? Yes.
Yes. It was like the movie Grease. I get back there in their pajamas, they jump on the couch, like, tell us everything.
See, my expression is this: Jessie doesn't live vicariously through other people. Jessie lives bi-curiously through other people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There are times I wish I had a peen. Well, what am I saying? I have like 8.
Right.
Oh, here comes the question.
Who was your first same-sex crush? I think about that.
Yeah, he was. So this kind of goes back to my. Sorry, my cats are really interested in this conversation today.
You love pussy, haha.
Yes. So when I was in 5th grade, I realized that I was feeling a little bit different. I was very young, and I knew that something was different about me. And there was this kid that was on the soccer team that I was on. And when he would go running, chasing after the ball, and he had that long, like 90s hair, you know, with the long kind of cut off, and he was Italian and just tan. And, you know, I was in 5th grade. So but it was like slow motion watching his hair like flow in the breeze. And I went home and told my mom, I'm like, something is just different about me, Mama. I don't know what it is. And my mom always said, you know, you're young, you'll figure it out. There's plenty of time. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it had to have been 5th grade, and he and I ended up becoming best friends after high school because we were in school together. And you know, he never found out that he was one of my crushes or anything like that. But we, you know, he knew who I was and what I was into. But we did become best friends for many years after high school. So super nice guy. But oh yeah, he was Italian and tall and buff and gorgeous and long-legged, and got even more gorgeous as years went on, and he's still gorgeous.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Scotty?
But when I came out, I tore through all my brother's straight best friends.
Wait, what does that mean, tore through?
As in, I didn't go to a gay bar until I was in my mid-20s. So, and I grew up in a redneck town. So when I came out as bi at the time, a lot of my hookups involved my brother's best friends, at least 3 or 4 of them.
Oh,
they had girlfriends.
That hits close to home.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
That meant that they were at my house and had a little bit to drink and found their way to my bedroom.
Whoa. Mark, has it happened? Was it like that for you too?
I kind of missed out on half of that conversation, but Similar kind of experience. Yeah. Older brothers, friends kind of wanted to experiment, and yeah.
Wow, Scotty. Look at
Okay, so if I'm being completely honest, it's somebody, I can't talk about this person, but it's somebody that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say grew up, it's somebody that I went to, I'm not talking about when I was like 6. I'm talking about when I was in junior high and beyond that. So that person will remain nameless. But when I think about it and think all the way back, that's when it was.
Was it the first time you guys actually had sex, or was it like oral sex? I mean, I'm sorry, I have to go there. Because
it was the first time I actually had sex.
Wow.
Mine was my brother's close friend, and he had a baby mama. And at the time, I wasn't pursuing him by any means. It was totally him coming after me. And, you know, I felt bad about it for sure. But it started off with oral sex with him. And then he did that thing that we talked about where he withdrew into himself and kind of disappeared for a little while. So I was feeling insecure and beating myself up for that and confiding in my brother's other friend. And he ended up being the first guy I had sex with because he and I had some drinks together. I confided in him, and one thing led to another. So, yeah. So one led to another, and then back to the other, and so on. And that's how I kind of came out of the closet at that point. But, yeah. I didn't lose my virginity, though, until I was 18. And that was in the front seat of a 1996 Ford Taurus with my best girlfriend and best guy friend.
Wait.
Yeah.
Back it up. What?
That was heterosexual virginity.
You lost your virginity in a threesome in a car?
Overlooking Alpine Valley Ski Lodge, parked behind a video event.
Wait, I'm trying to get a visual. Hold up.
That's a triple play.
I love telling people these stories because you can't make the shit up that happens to me, Jessie. Parked behind a video event in wintertime, overlooking a ski lodge in the front bench seat of a 96 Ford Taurus. It just was what it was. It was mad.
I'm obsessed with the daisy chain.
It probably happens more than people think. He's just comfortable talking about it, which is great.
Scotty, who wants to explain what a daisy chain is? Because I'm obsessed with it. Oh. I've never done it. I'm just very, very obsessed.
A daisy chain.
Explain it? Huh?
A daisy. I cut out for a second. A daisy chain.
Do you know what a daisy chain is?
Mark? That's what people are like hooked together sexually in a certain way.
Look at Mark's face. You know what it is. I think you need to.
I would like to hear what other people think it is first in the room.
Wow. Mark, you're gonna make the girl.
Should I Google it? Should I Google it?
Mark knows what
like
everything is.
Everybody's hooked. I think it's. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know exactly how you're hooked, but there's.
It depends on who the
and two males
sexual partners are, and.
Yeah, I just don't know how they're hooked, but I think it's cute.
Oh my gosh! You know what comes up when I Google it?
What?
A string of daisies threaded together with their stems.
Oh my god!
Obviously, I'm not using the right
Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary. Cycle position.
Oh, what does daisy chain slang mean? A line or circle of 3 or more persons engaged in simultaneous sexual activity. So I guess
okay. So it doesn't have to be actual plug in the genitalia. It could be oral.
The oral. It could be
For example,
my friend,
a high class.
Look at your blushing, Mark.
Line of daisy chains. Never mind. Okay.
Wait,
never mind. Read the definition, Scott. Read the definition.
No,
I read your handsome man voice.
I read the definition. They just gave, for example, a high-class call girl. She drew the line at daisy chains. So she was like, "No, I don't do daisy chains."
What?
But it's a circle of 3 or more people engaged in simultaneous sexual activity. So that can be a lot of different things.
A group activity.
Why would she draw the line at that?
Well,
I always thought that was called a power train.
Yeah,
I think it's a power train when it's all men.
or when someone just says they're running a train on you. I mean, so many different things.
I can't believe I'm educating you guys right now. It's a train or a power train when it's all men. The word daisy means there's a girl in there.
Okay.
That's what I'm.
Jesse, I'm a very bad gay. Like when it
you're
comes to
all
some of
like
these
terrible. You're all terrible. I'm the
Mark
best
knows a lot more than he's admitting. Mark knows a lot more than
Look
he's
at
admitting.
his face.
Remember,
He's blushing.
He's got that smile.
We've all seen his paragraph and a half on Grindr of whips and chains and automobiles. No, I'm just kidding.
Look at your face. I'm gonna go on Grindr and look for you. I'm gonna pretend that I'm a Blasian man. And like I have 8 penises. Who's in?
I'm not hard to find.
Wait, is it an advertisement?
He's got the red light blinking on his photo.
Right now, yes. My profile kind of is an advertisement for the campground, to be honest. I have a lot of things about
with this new smooth face for your kissing pleasure.
There you go.
Is it? Or I don't know. Ooh, there's a question. What does it say?
Oh, what famous person would you ask your partner for a hall pass for one night?
Oh man,
there's too many.
Right, there is too many.
Harry Styles, because I would want to put him in a tutu as well, and a harness.
But
I have a whole outfit.
But that would probably turn into a 3-way.
Oh yeah, now all I'm picturing is Robin a fucking tutu. Thanks, Jeff.
You know he's never gonna go for that. He has a harness though.
Oh God, so many. I used to have the biggest crush on Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh, he's a good one.
Chris Pine.
Who's that? Chris who?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
I don't know who that is.
Have you seen Wonder Woman? He was her boyfriend. He was her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that died that was in Fast and Furious?
Oh, what was I know I see his face.
Yeah, so handsome.
Yeah,
so handsome.
I've always had a thing for Ricky Martin.
Seeing if
but at the same time though, I wouldn't tell Zach this. He's not around at the moment, but I definitely think he's prettier than Ricky Martin.
Aww,
he's that.
Yeah, don't tell him that though. It'll make his head get big.
Aww.
If he were still alive, George Michael.
Oh yeah, George Michael. Yes. No, I would say Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did want to come.
Her boobs aren't very big.
It was Paul Walker.
Right.
Who was in Fast
Paul Walker. Yep.
Yes. Thank you, Christine, producer extraordinaire.
Always on it behind the scenes.
No shit. She's more gay than all of us. I'm telling you. She knows more.
She's a gay man trapped in a fabulous woman's body.
Yes.
And that's why and her chocolate bars. We'll leave it at
and
that.
The big nose. She has the big nose. I think there's actually
I did want to come back real quick to the gaydar thing. So something happened to me recently, Jesse. You remember I was in the hospital because you reached out to me.
Yeah.
And while I was in the hospital, this man came in an ambulance, and they were behind, so they wheeled him into the waiting room, and I saw this guy, and instantly, like, a very good looking guy, but my gaydar pretty much went off right away. And I went back and I had my test done and everything, and I was being discharged, and I came out in the lobby, and he was sitting by himself again in the lobby. And you know how I am. So I took maternal pity on this man, and I was just like, hey, you went back there before me. I just, is everything okay? Do you need a ride somewhere? What's going on? And we talked for a bit. And of course I found out instantly because he turned out to be gay. Sure enough, within 2 days, I started receiving inappropriate photos on Facebook Messenger from this person.
See, you're trying to be nice and you're receiving dick pics on Messenger.
And then some. So gaydar, I rest my case. I thoroughly rest my case on my hind end.
How inappropriate were they dick pics?
Well, there was some action. There were some action photos.
Whoa. Dang, okay.
along with an invitation to come visit.
Oh, nice. That's the thing. Women don't do that. Like you hook up with a woman and you're flirting with a woman. Nobody's gonna send pictures of their titties or something. They just don't do that.
Lesbian women don't do that. Again, let me go back to how I lost my virginity. Her name was Becky, and I dated
course
3
it was.
Beckys.
Becky.
And
Oh
Becky,
my God, Becky.
as we
Becky.
it's always a Becky. And as we were sitting in front of the ski lodge, and she referred to it as ski polling. Her and I have continued to be best friends to this day. But she is a Libra.
That's the best part.
And
of course, I'm gonna have to go through your profile, Facebook, to see what she looks
Becky. Like. Becky is a happily married woman to an Asian American male and has beautiful Asian children. And yep. And Becky, Becky of one of many of my girlfriends. I've hung out with some girls that, if men can do it, they can do it too, and they have no shame in their game of sending some photos and videos. So I think it just depends.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, even when I was dating women, I just never sent pictures like that.
I know for a fact that Becky would find you absolutely fascinating, because I have a type of female following, and you're definitely there, Jessie. Because now
I'm fascinated myself.
there's a reason you and I click like we do, because we're made for each other. God decided you and I were gonna fit together.
Yeah, so. The very first time we were like at the bar like this. You and I were like that too, Scotty. And Mark, I just got lucky with you.
You did.
Okay. Speaking of, I just got the message from said person from the hospital. My phone just went off.
We want to see it. Has anyone ever used you to test the boundaries of their own sexuality?
Yes.
Absolutely. I have not objected.
Wow.
In fact, I made sure that they went back with even more questions, and you never give them 100% of everything, because you always want them to come back to learn more.
Right? Don't give away the whole store.
Exactly. I'm gonna make them buy the whole damn cow, and it's a special kind of cow too. It's where buttermilk come from.
Oh, wait, what?
Right?
I'm drinking coffee with a lot of.
Are you? I'm coffee tonight. Cheers.
Cheers. I've actually had women friends, because I just just in the last few years, I mean, obviously Scotty and a few of my really close friends knew about my thing with women, but just in the last few years, I've been more open about it. And sometimes, if we're out and whatever, we're dancing, and they'll start to get like a little touchy feely, and they'll just be like, well, I never really kissed a girl before. And I'm just like, I don't know why you never try to kiss me. And I'm just like, well, bitch, because I don't find you attractive, because, But yeah, I do. I find that, I think when you openly talk about sexuality, sometimes people lose their manners, and sometimes they lose their manners, and they just think that just because you said you don't believe in monogamy in the traditional sense, or that you're open to other sexes, your same sex or whatever, they just think that it's a license for them to just do whatever. Have you guys witnessed that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
probably.
I think so. I think people sometimes don't know where the boundaries are, really, sometimes, and they just go a little too far, and then it becomes awkward, right? I'm like,
yeah, then you're like, oh,
no.
Oh my gosh, you guys, tonight went so fast. Show ends in 30 seconds. So what do we want to say? Any special message for anybody that's kind of on the fence? What are they thinking?
I would just say that folks, folks who are questioning their sexuality, anybody who's got issues coming out, or obviously what we talked about is spicy, but it's not an easy transition, and there is help for you if you're questioning your sexuality. More often than not, I've lost friends to suicide and things like that because they're concerned. So there is help with affirmations and other resources out there. Ruth Ellis for youth LGBTQ. You need places to stay. You can certainly message any of us from this group or the 5Fs to Love if you need some assistance. I'm sure we can find some counseling for you to help you come out and make sure that you're taken care of. So I would just want to say, let's make sure that you have a healthy transition and get your questions answered in the best way possible.
And your safety is priority. So if you don't feel safe coming out, don't feel like you have to.
And of course, if you do choose to engage in the hookup culture, make sure that you're safe. Make sure your surroundings are safe. Make sure you're doing public meetups and don't exceed.
Also use condoms every time.
Safe sex is key. STDs and STIs are at a high premium these days.
Yeah. Anything, Daddy Scotty?
Be who you are, people, but be who you are safely.
Yep.
And
everybody else is taken.
At the time it's right for you. Don't let anybody push you into it.
Yeah. And our stories are proprietary to us. They are not necessarily the expressed views of 5Fs to Love.
Yes, it is.